If the title of this video, Why I Don't Trust Financial Advisors, triggers you on some level, probably because you are a financial advisor or you know one that you really like and trust, stick with me for a moment, because the insights I'm going to share in this short video can have a huge impact on your financial future, whether you choose to work with a financial advisor or not. I'm Penelope Jane Smith, and my intention with this channel is to give you the money skills, tools, systems, and insights that you need in order to create more ease, peace, and freedom in your life when it comes to money and finances. And to be clear, I'm not a financial advisor or a financial planner. I don't sell financial products and I don't give specific financial advice. I'm an educator, coach, and mentor that specializes in supporting entrepreneurs to keep and grow their money. And many of my clients also work with a financial advisor, which can be great. What's a huge red flag to me is when someone says something to the effect of, I don't need to understand what's going on with my money because someone else handles that for me. Why is that a red flag? After all, if you're not an expert in a particular area, it makes sense to seek out an expert that can support you in that area, right? So if you don't think that you're great at managing and investing your money, it's smart to get support. But here's what I want you to get. There's a difference between delegating and abdicating responsibility. There's a difference between hiring a nanny to come in and help you care for your baby and just sending your baby off to be raised by someone else for 18 years and hoping your kid turns out okay. When people don't want to look at their money and don't take the time to understand what's going on with their money, then they're probably losing a lot of money without even realizing it. I often say that their investment portfolio is leaking money like a broken or leaky faucet. They're taking unnecessary risks with their financial future, even if they have a great financial planner. One of my amazing VIP financial coaching clients actually had a financial advisor that she liked and trusted that stole all her money, over $400,000 at the time. And unfortunately, she's not the only person I know who has been in this situation. So what do I mean when I say delegate versus abdicate responsibility? Well, when you're delegating, you're still in charge. You're still ultimately responsible and you stay involved in the process. You learn along with the person you're delegating to. But if you abdicate responsibility, you're removing yourself from that process. You don't really know what's going on. You don't understand. You don't learn. You aren't involved in the decision making. And that's when things can really start to go sideways on you because you aren't in the loop and you can't make good decisions. So you feel behind and you start leaning on the person that you've abdicated to more and more. So when I say that I don't trust financial planners, that doesn't mean that all financial planners are bad or wrong or don't deserve to charge for their services. What I mean is that I don't trust someone just because they call themselves a financial advisor or a financial planner or even a wealth advisor. Because the term financial advisor doesn't really mean anything. It's not tied to any specific credentials, which is kind of scary. I've met a lot of people who call themselves financial advisors or financial planners who work for insurance companies, and they're limited in what financial products they can offer. So even though they might be great, well-meaning people with a heart of gold, they might recommend products that aren't the best fit for their clients because that's all they're licensed to sell. I got to see this firsthand when I was training with a $1 trillion company to expand the services I could offer to my clients. At the time, I was running a mortgage company, and I took pride in supporting my clients by finding them a mortgage that made sense with their overall financial goals. I thought it would be awesome to be able to provide my clients with insurance and other investments if it made sense. As I went through the training, I felt frustrated because I wasn't learning the ins and outs of different insurance policies and investments. All of my training was on sales. All of my training was on sales. And we were encouraged to make a list of family and friends and book consultations with them to see if they needed any of the company's financial products. My aunt was actually interested in a refinance. And because I understood the mortgage industry really well, I could tell right away that the mortgage this company was offering her was a total ripoff. So I told my aunt to walk away from the deal, and I thought, oh my God, if they're ripping people off this bad on mortgages, I bet their other products are ripoffs too. And I had to quit. It wasn't in alignment. I recommend having insurance when you need it, like health insurance and car insurance, but I don't recommend working with an insurance company for your investments. Not because someone is a bad person if they work there, but because they're limited in what financial products they can give you, and a lot of them just aren't going to make sense for you. My favorite type of financial advisor is a fee-only certified financial planner who acts as a fiduciary. Okay, that was a lot, so let me break that down. Fee only means that how they make their money is you pay them for their advice and guidance. They're not getting any secret kickbacks or commissions from the stuff that they recommend for you. You want to work with someone who will recommend investments based on what's good for you, not what's going to make them the most money. Certified means that they've met extensive training and experience requirements, passed the certification exam, and are held to high ethical standards. And fiduciary means that they have to act in your best interest, like a doctor or an accountant. But even with all of that, I have to give a disclaimer here. Even a lot of well-educated, high-integrity, certified financial advisors have been taught and are still using outdated investment strategies from the 70s that work to an extent, but leave their clients' portfolios with invisible, costly, and totally avoidable money leaks, while exposing them to unnecessary price volatility and risk. I had a session with a new VIP financial coaching client who was very happy with the financial planner that she had been working with for years. And once she actually understood the positions and the investment strategy that he had recommended for her, she was like, why would he do this to me? So if you want to implement one of those outdated investment strategies for yourself, the good news is you can do it with one ticker symbol in an online brokerage account like Charles Schwab or E-Trade and save yourself the 1% to 2% in fees, which can really make a big difference over time. Like for example, if you have $1 million portfolio growing at 11% over 20 years, just 1% in fees, just 1%, will cost you over $1.6 million in growth. Now that said, I do believe that there are plenty of trustworthy, awesome financial advisors, and it can be totally worth it to pay them for their support. I actually have several financial advisors that I work with in various capacities. So I'm not knocking financial advisors, but I am a huge stand for independent financial education. I would love for you to work with your advisor to implement a strategy that you understand and delegate parts of it to your advisor, like researching funds that meet your criteria and presenting them to you instead of saying, you handle it. I don't want to look at it. Financial expert Dave Ramsey says that the right financial advisor has the heart of a teacher, not the heart of a salesperson. So when you meet with this person, do you feel like you learned something? Do you feel empowered to make better financial decisions? Or do you feel pressured or belittled? If your advisor won't take the time to fully explain something to you or is cagey about sharing information with other financial professionals that you work with, well, that might be a signal to walk away, right? And if you already have a financial advisor that you like and trust, that's great. I still encourage you to make a lifelong practice of increasing your independent financial education. Because ultimately you and only you are the steward of your money. My best resource for increasing your financial education is my signature online event, Financial Freedom 101. So if you're not already registered, click the link in the description or go to financialfreedom101online.com to check it out. And if you've made it this far and found this helpful, please tap the like button on this video if you haven't already done that. Even leave a comment because it really helps more people get access to this information. I'm totally fine with you disagreeing with me or anything that I've shared here, but what I'm not fine with is being mean. So when you're leaving a comment, please be respectful with your comments, okay? And if you'd like to see more videos from me around personal finance, money management, saving and investing, and financial freedom, make sure to subscribe to this channel and click the little bell icon so you'll see when I make a new video. Thanks for watching and happy investing.